So welcome to one of my first ever vlogs. I hope to get more into vlogging. We'll see if I think I'm cool enough to vlog, because I'm definitely not in my 20s anymore. So for this vlog, I actually wanted to talk about a topic that I've been thinking a lot about recently as I go through some life changes. And one of the topic is circling back to the beginning. And I've been thinking a lot about kind of some shifts that I've had to make in my mindset, because when I say that I'm going back to the beginning, what I mean is recently I've decided to change my career more towards working with NGOs. So I've been going through a little bit of a career transition. For the last 12 years, I've been in marketing. And the last 10 so years, I've been doing marketing here in Germany, and I've been doing it I've been marketing inside the B2B SaaS world, which, if you know anything about marketing, is its own cup of tea. It works a lot for a lot of people, even though we could say that B2B SaaS space is changing a lot at the moment with AI. But if you didn't know this about me, I actually started in NGOs, so in the nonprofit sector when I was living in the United States. And I actually went to university. I got my nonprofit marketing degree. I was volunteering and working with a lot of NGOs, nonprofits during my time in university. And then I graduated and I got my dream job of the time, which was working in an arts organization as a marketing coordinator. Those were some of my best times, I think. I look back on that time very fondly, even though I was 21 years old and I really didn't know what I was doing. So when I say you're never too old to start again, that's the first narrative shift that I want to talk through, because I've been thinking about it a lot recently, because I built an agency. I've operated in the B2B SaaS world, but it was never the true fulfillment of my purpose, my being, and what I really wanted to do. And recently I've been making the transition back into the nonprofit world, whether that's owning my own nonprofit or working for a nonprofit. I don't know yet which one it will be, but it's been quite a narrative shift for me to think through, in the sense that a lot of times in society, especially with someone who's in their 30s, a lot of people tend to think that you should have it all figured out by now, that you should be making the six figures, that you should already be well in the path, you should be getting a house, your kids probably should already be a couple years old, who knows. There's a lot of expectations for people in their 30s. And while the narrative shift that I'm working on, basically rerouting, is that you're never too old to start again. And I wouldn't say that I'm starting over from nothing, but I do feel like I'm starting over again. And I'm almost starting over again and going back to the beginning. So the beginning of where I started and the reason why I wanted to work, the reason why I wanted and what career I wanted to have. So I'm going back to the beginning. And I also want to push back on that narrative too a little bit, even though I said it, that you're starting back from the beginning. You're not really starting from the beginning. There's a lot of learned experiences that I have had over the last 10 to 12 years that I can apply to this next stage of my career. And even though I'm making this circling back, I'm never too old to start again, there are experiences that I can bring back from that other piece of my life into this new phase that really makes it not from starting over from scratch. I have learned experiences. So about 4 years ago now, almost 4 years ago, I was in a pretty bad place. So it was at the height of my content marketing agency. We were working with B2B SaaS clients. By the height of my agency, I was making the most money that I had ever made in my life. I was peaking at 6 figs, which was quite a bit of money in Berlin for someone in their 20s. And I was working a lot of projects, and on paper, everything about the agency life was winning, dissolving. And I think when you're in your 20s, you have a lot more energy and everything, but I hit burnout so seriously in 2022, and I'm still working on getting through that. because I still have so much internalized anxiety and stress from that time period that still is triggered to this day. So even though this was the top of my career at this time, it was actually one of the lowest parts of my 20s. Let's say about early 2023, somewhere in there, that's when I hit rock bottom. I had unhappiness, I had a lot of anxiety, I started having depression. I was unhappy with where I was. I started letting clients go and projects go, not because they were not good projects or ones that didn't align with me, it's like more like just because I couldn't handle it anymore. I didn't have the capacity to function at 200% as a human being anymore. And it was about that time I started doing some internal changes. I've always been a journaler, I've been a reflector, and about that time I got a life coach. She helped me through a lot of things at the moment that I was going through at that time. She was great. She really directed me in the same spot towards like a new direction, a new perspective that I needed. I also did a lot of traveling at that time. I've always found a lot of joy and a lot of fulfillment in traveling, not just the experiencing and going new places and talking about it and storytelling about it, but actually the organization. So I got a lot of ownership again, like, yeah, I can actually do things, I can actually organize things, and there's joy that comes out of that process. So in 2023, I did a lot of life coaching and I did a lot of traveling. And then from there, it kind of got a little bit more messy, but 2023 was really my year of like searching for meaning. I'm still searching for meaning, but I think it was a good moment to sit back and reflect, to kind of just ride on all that prosperity of 21 and 22 and part of 2023, and just like ride the wave and enjoy it a little bit more. Now, this is all before really my turning point that's leading me to where I am now. So the turning point is actually also in 2023. I decided to sit down and get a certificate from the University of Cambridge that I was very excited about and that really aligned with my internal values. So I got the Creative Media and Sustainable Marketing certificate from the University of Cambridge. And before then, I was dabbling a little bit in sustainability. I had a couple of sustainability clients, so I understood the topic a bit. But I didn't really understand what it meant to me as a marketer, as a communicator, as a creative, someone who's going through the motions of everyday marketing. What does sustainability have to do with me? So this certificate was super eye-opening. I had such a positive experience going through it. I learned so much from it. And there was a real pivot, like a turning point that was during that time. That I was more of like an aha moment, because a lot of what I had been doing before in my work, because I was working with green businesses, I was working with green tech at that time, was very traditional business as usual marketing, fit within a green lens to make me feel better about it. I don't want to shame the green tech field. There's a lot of good work that's happening there. But I was looking for impact work. I was looking for meaning. I was looking for connecting to my purpose. And that wasn't happening. And this certificate from the University of Cambridge really opened me up to what that actually meant. So what that actually meant was a lot of what I was doing in marketing was still trying to like pigeonhole an idea of prosperity and goodness for all, well-being for all people on the planet within, let's imagine that as the circle peg, sticking this inside a square that is capitalism, that is business as usual. Once I understood that from that degree, it completely changed how I view my work. And then how it changed how I view my work now is marketing, communication, climate, and people. It's all tied together, and we have so much influence as a marketing industry on how what people think and how they feel and what they buy and how they live their lives. That's a lot of power. And just like when I was taking this course again and again, the stupid Spider-Man quote kept coming up. With great power comes great responsibility. And I was thinking like, yeah, as a marketer, communicator, or even other people in my industry, we have so much creative power. We have convinced people to do things that beforehand was completely normal to them. Convinced them to smoke, convinced them that deodorant was an important part of their daily hygiene, things that people for centuries did not care about. We convinced them of all these things. And for what reason? To buy more stuff, to make money for the capitalistic gains of businesses. And so I really asked myself, do I really want to be part of that narrative anymore? It didn't feel very good. So this was truly the turning point when I started to get a different perspective on how my industry, marketing and advertising, could be run. So this process didn't happen overnight. I mean, we're talking, this is 2023. For 2 years, I tried to merge together an agency with impact, and with the core value of why I was operating as a business was to do better, to give back. And I tried to build a company, purpose-driven business based on those values for almost 2 years. And you know what? It's completely possible. It's not an unusual thought. A lot of good businesses are doing that. But it wasn't going to work out for me because of my situation of where I am currently in my life and also where I'm located. So that means plan B or plan A or a complete pivot. So at the end of 2024, that was the end of all things. That was when I closed down my content marketing agency, where I had the most successful financial year and client database, everything that you could dream of what you want in your 20s as far as career success. I closed that at the end of 2024, and I let that part of my life go. And that was probably one of the hardest things for me, letting a business go that I was proud of, that I built, but also coming to the feeling and the resolution of it was the moment to let it go because it wasn't going to grow in the way that I wanted it to grow or that I needed it to grow at that time. So now we're back up on the upswing of trying to figure out what the next step is. For the last year, I've been focusing more strongly on building an NGO, building a nonprofit, something that goes down to my core and my purpose and what I want to do. 21-year-old Megan would be very proud of herself because that's the whole reason she went to business school. And I even remember in business school how hard it was for me because there was not a lot of people. There was nobody else in my small business department that were going into the nonprofit world. And I would talk to them about the nonprofits and what they were doing and why this was important and why we should put our talents towards this. I was thinking about this when I was 21. And I remember those students looking at me like, but why would you want to do that? That's not how the world functions. That's not how you're going to make money. Don't you want to go work for Boeing? That'll make you more successful, more this, more that. And I was like, no, why would I want to do that? And I just fought them more, and I just fought them so much. And in 21, I didn't know why. It's because I didn't have any alignment with it. So it's taken me 12 years to finally find that alignment again, but this is where we are. So now I'm building an NGO of myself, trying to bridge the gap between climate, people, and the planet, and marketing, taking this idea that marketing can truly be used as a force for good if only we bring marketers and communicators and creatives that the knowledge and understanding that how they can use those talents to better the world and connect them to those options, connect them to that knowledge and that education, giving them the tools and their roadblocks in the pathway. That belief that if we put all those pieces together for them, that even if it was 20% of all marketers and communicators in the world, and there's a lot of us, we could do some really great work and we could really make a difference in the climate movement in this next phase of our civilization, which could go either way at this point. And I think the center people who are driving those narratives that's going to convince people, who's going to encourage people, take people in certain directions, either that's good or bad, is absolutely the creatives and the marketers. We have such an important spot and part to play in this whole narrative, this narrative story of civilization. So this is the end of my purpose yap session, and I hope there will be many more. So if you like this, please go like the video and subscribe to my channel. I like to talk about things like sustainability, sustainable marketing,